No, this was our third good day. It was red zone today. Less reps, which was good on their legs. These guys put in a lot of good work in the last 2.5 days, and so it starts to catch up with them a little bit. Mentally, really good, really good on both sides, which was cool to see. And then there at the end too, you saw we had a little fun with the kickers, which is a part of this. These guys, this is tough. These are tough days for a lot of guys, but it's also a fun day for others. And so we talked at the start about opportunities. They had a lot of opportunities, a lot of reps, and now some may never put the pads on again, and some may just be starting that dream that they didn't know was about to happen. So that's the fun part for us as coaches. We'll go back, take a look at the film, see who we like, who we think we can develop, not let anybody slip through the cracks, hopefully, and just keep doing our thing.
One thing that you've done here is talking about what happened last year and what you're doing here. It's not sensitive, it's not touchy, it's not the elephant in the room. Why do you think it's so important to say, this is what happened, we're talking about this, we're doing this? To
use it as a learning tool. I think in life, not just football, but so many people are scared to talk about the quote-unquote elephant in the room. They don't want to be honest, or they feel uncomfortable by it. We're not going to do that. We're going to use it as a positive. We're going to try to learn from it in different ways to do it. And I just got done telling the group out there, I said, you know, the kickers are the ones out here right now that are getting all the heat, and they're getting the ones that we're creating pressure for, which isn't necessarily fair. Right now we can't put pads on. So as we keep going here and when we get to training camp, we're going to be able to put pads on these guys and put other players in those type of moments and try to single guys out. Same with us as coaches. Try to create a pressure situation as a coach to where you have to make a quick decision on the run, and it's going to make us better. We have a lot of instances of other teams and individuals where that's the case, and so the kickers, unfortunately, this weekend were put on you know, in front of everybody.
Matt, what's your reaction to Bednarski winning the competition and then punctuating it with a backflip?
I thought I saw that. I looked out of the corner of my eye and I said, did he just do that? And I guess he did. I would probably recommend to not do that. I think of Martin Gramatica. He had a little celebration in an ACL. It's probably not the smartest thing to do.
You mentioned guys who may have played their way into an opportunity. Is he one of them?
I don't know. We'll see. We're going to make some decisions here. There's not going to be easy ones. The kicker position is one where we're going to we got to make sure that we are making the right decision. And so Ryan and I will go back. We'll talk to everybody as far as we have so many different tools to help us make this decision, whether it's, you know, the coaches with what they keep just with the video and their stats, but then other resources too that are helping us out. So there could be.
The electronics that you guys do.
Yeah, that too, the tracker.
What sort of, how does that help you?
Well, it helps because what we're able to do is get a feel for the trajectory, the ball speed, and then we can use that. Really what's most important, Patrick, is to be able to compare that to other kickers, you know, and so we can see, okay, with this guy or that guy, we have some of that information, which is nice.
Do you have a timetable when you want to make some of these decisions?
As far as
for anyone,
any position?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. Not really. We're if we feel like we know right away what the decision is, then we'll go with it. If it's one that's tough, then we'll probably hang on to a guy a little bit longer to give him more time in OTAs to develop and see is it worth a shot or not.
Are you looking forward to seeing how your veterans enjoy or take in the kicking competition you have going?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll have lots of fun. Shoot, the rookies out here were having fun. They were trying to heckle them. I don't know if you could hear them or not, but I'm sure our vets will have a lot of fun with that, and we'll put some twists and turns to the different competitions that we have. But our guys will have fun with it.
Now, reasonably, how many kickers can you bring into OTAs, roster-wise?
You know, anywhere from 2, 3, maybe 4. Who knows? Again, it depends on what we see, what we decide on. But if it's 4, then it's going to be close, and it gives us more, and we got to juggle out how we want to work that with reps. If it's 2, then there's there's more reps for both of those guys, and if it's 3, so we're going to get back there and do that right now.
Why did you pick Jones and Bednarski, and was that kind of a message to some of the other kickers?
No, it wasn't. It was Tabes and those guys. Tabes really he has a method to how he's doing this. So some of these were predetermined. Okay. So he's just I walk out in the middle of he comes out to me in the middle of the team and says, "This is who we're going with," and I said, "Okay, let's go."
At this point in the process,
you talked about you have to make the kick, but we heard Chris saying something about it's not just about making the kick, it's about striking the ball well and having the right angle. So how do you balance the making the kick versus just hitting the ball well?
Number one, the importance is that you do need to make the kick because that's the production. That's what matters in the end to all of us, you guys, myself. That's what we're judged on. But then there's a process of how you get to that. I don't think it's fair necessarily numbers-wise to be able to critique these kickers by the first practice they're out here on day one if they miss one left or miss one right to say, oh my gosh, now this guy shouldn't have a chance. But over time, if that's consistent, then that answers our question. We got to move on. And so they know that. We put that, Tabe's made it loud and clear to them. And so now, can you do that in the first through third quarter? Can you hit it down the fairway? Now you need to be able to, hit that par 5, be able to get on in 2 and have the long leg, that 52-yard game winner when it's, craving pressure.
Matt, how certain are you that this part of the process, the 8-kicker thing, will produce your week 1 starting kicker?
It's a great question. I feel strongly that it will happen, but again, I don't know. I don't know there's so many things that can go on between now and the start of the season that I wish I could tell you I knew this was going to happen, but I don't really honestly have an answer for you on that.
Matt, why was it important for you guys to cut up a video showing the kickers what happened last year? They weren't part of the team, but did you want them to kind of know where you guys are coming from?
Well, it wasn't just the kickers, it was the whole team. And it was something that I showed our varsity guys when they were in here. I showed them too. So when they were here, they all saw it because again, no elephant in the room. Let's talk. This is where we're at. This is what happened last year. This is gone now. How do we improve? Well, that would happen to be the last play of our season. So now, if you're a kicker and you're in the room, you're going to feel uncomfortable. If you're a player or a coach in the room, you're going to feel uncomfortable. So let's go test it out now.
Matt, when you're a playoff team, can you afford to have a kicker who either has room for growth or needs room for growth, a young guy, or do you need a guy who can do it right away? In other words, is there a growth factor?
No, there's certainly going to be a growth factor with anybody that doesn't have experience. But there's teams out there right now that have gone into the playoffs with kickers that have no experience, that have made good, big kicks. You just don't know that until they have that opportunity. And it's not fair to these young kids or these rookie, players to not be able to give them a chance and say, well, you can't be our kicker because you never had a chance before. That's not fair to them. So, but then with that comes criticism because you went with a young kicker, right? So that's the balance.
Matt, with Kerrith White, you talked about his raw speed. What is the process of figuring out, A, as a coaching staff, how to harness that, and B, him as a player, figuring out how that translates to this level? So
he is super fast. I like with him right now with Kerrith is that you can tell his football knowledge within our offense. Now, we've scaled back a lot with this camp so that guys can go out and they could show us who they are as players. But so far, not many mistakes. You take what he can do. He split reps last year at FAU with Devin Singletary. And so I think what we saw on tape last year, what he's doing right now in a limited role for us, the speed jumps out. So now once we get a good feel of what his strengths are, we need to fit those into what we do, and then he needs to, at the same time, produce on special teams as well.
What's your evaluation of Matt Betts? Did you see any improvement from day one?
I would say overall for his weekend, he's a kid that definitely plays hard. He goes from start to finish. He never takes a play off. And we like that about him. He has a high motor, and he's definitely a great kid.
What would you like to see him improve for the next?
For us, it's only going to be when you get the pads on. That's it.
Man, for all the evaluation you guys did on all these players to bring them here, was there anybody who, when seeing them live, was faster than you thought, better than you thought, just different, just more than expected?
I don't think anybody was that way, Mark, where they were, an outlier, but I thought it proved what we felt, what we saw on tape, because sometimes you get that and you say, oh no, we might have, you kind of have a feeling right away of, okay, now we got to work at this area or that area. I think for all of us, what we saw, and I'm talking in particular, obviously our draft picks, what we saw from our draft picks, this is a credit to Ryan and our scouts, is everything that we thought we saw on tape.
With Duke, you mentioned yesterday about his sort of natural energy and vibrance. In what ways does that matter to you as a coach, to have guys that have that sort of natural?
Well, me personally, being a type A personality, I love it. We have guys that don't talk much. there's a balance. And so the part of be you and let your personality show is a pure example of Duke being loud in a good way, energetic, and then being able to pick up somebody that's a little more introverted and quiet. And so I'm all for it. And the guys know the balance of not crossing the line and being cocky. But that's not him at all.
Did the red zone work today maybe bring out some of the unique traits that Dax Raymond has out there?
Yeah, you saw some of that, right? He made a nice catch in the back of the end zone. He has big hands, and usually when you have big hands, you catch a lot of footballs. And he did that. He's shown that on tape. He has a really good skill set. I was happy with what he did this week.